Right, good evening, everyone. Welcome this time for my third stream in a row tonight for hybrid racing F1, first race of the new season on 2022 at Bahrain. It's a short qualifying session followed by 50% race. I've just realised I'm not in a party, so I'm just going to stick myself in a party. I don't know when I was removed from a party. I haven't just done my last stream on, so all the drivers could hear it. I should have done. I checked at the start and I was definitely in the party, so there we go. In a way, yes, so we are here for round one of the first 22 season for hybrid racing Formula 1. Should be a good one. I think there's 16 on track. Oh, Fatal Defiance has just left. Where is he, Fatal Defiance? He is there somewhere. Seems to be a regular thing. Somebody keeps getting kicked at the start of sessions for some reason. No, I don't want to take control. Few game lights to game. There we go. Let's get him back in. Right, so I was one out. We are 17 on track. So, not a bad turnout for the first race. That's two first races of the season in a row I've done this evening. And we've had 37 out of a possible 40 turn up in the two races, which is fantastic. And grumble at that at all. And for all I know, there might be more joining. Won't bother going to tyres. You can only use soft in qualifying now, so no point in having that on. Just the telemetry and the lap delta. Let's hide. Ooh, hang on, don't hide the log. There we go. Just like that bit. Right then, so was Sam first out? He was indeed. So Sam C6 is first out. Now, I've seen most of these drivers do race elsewhere. Sorry, I've seen most of these drivers on tracks already before. Not all though. Foxy's a bit new to me. I think I was on track with him in a race last week, but don't think I saw much of him. Chris as well, a bit new to me. Pete, who's there sixth on the screen, I'm not too sure about him, or Binny Boy. So there is some new ones. Junkie Emperor as well, that's a new one. Aldini I saw in a race last night. Was a reasonable driver, so it'll be interesting. Oh, the only thing I know really is that Watson, I don't know how he prefers me to say it, but all I do know is that he's mighty quick in this league, so we'll expect to see him challenging pole and the race win. Tempest also is a quick one, so he's another one to watch out for, and W Paul as well. So that's three that I know we need to watch out for. I'm not too sure about all the others. So Sam is going to get us underway. It's just coming up to this difficult left, right, left. I suppose in a way it's an S bend, really, isn't it? It does make an S shape, so it is really into the hairpin, around to the next hairpin, which is this long sort of turns to the left and then sharply turns in. It'll be a bit difficult on the traction out of it as well. See the car wobble a little bit. Opens up the DRS, but look pretty good. Sam. It's a sweeping left that you can take in either fourth or fifth. Doesn't really matter which you take it in, as long as you know the apex. And this long right-hander, which is much easier this year than last. And this one all about turning in tightly and getting on the power. He's made a bit of a mistake there, Sam, on the exit. But it definitely would have affected him, so he knows he's got more time than in his lap than whatever he sets here. But I don't think it'd be a huge amount. 2 or 3 attempts out of that one mistake, I expect. But it's a 31-2 to away in a way, so a nice first lap of the season. There is a Ferrari coming into the final turn. So that must be Daguna then. Also someone I know is a very decent driver. 29.5 from Daguna. Lays down a good target now as Chris crosses the line on a 31-0. Oh, hang on, let's go to this one then. So this is Vox Hunter, Vax Hunter, VX Hunter. Across the line on a 30.6, goes P3 for the moment. The others to across the line there, Fox has done a 33.0. Watts on 26.9, so Daguna quicker at the moment. Who was that crossing the line? That was Small Loss, who's done a 31.4. I don't even think to check. I don't actually know if this is equal performance or realistic. As that is Small Loss spinning out of turn 2 into turn 3. Yellow flags are out, but looks like he's okay. And you can get going again. See, yeah, no damage to the front wing that I can see, nothing obvious in a way. Go to Tempest then. In the Alfa Romeo. Oh no, he's not on a proper lap. Who's that coming out the final corner? They've invalidated. That was Sam, and he's into the pits in a way. Oh my word, so hard to find the drivers. Gunnar into the pits. Is Watson continuing? No, he's not. Anybody? See if we spot anybody that's showing us up at the moment. Well, I can't see anyone that's showing us up. Let's go to Big Willie Fitz. Let's come up to the end of Sector 2. So we get an idea of whether he's going again or not. It's almost impossible to go again, really, here at Bahrain. You use so much energy in one lap, and it's not easy to gain back on a cooldown lap, so I would suggest nobody's really going to go again. I think we're pretty much waiting. Bayhard-Swanee then has gone fastest in the McLaren. That probably does tell me that it's equal performance, so I probably know that now. He gets well out of the way of the Alfa Romeo. Both Alfa Romeos, in fact, very close to each other on track. Tempest, I expect he's going again. Yeah, he's 31.6 seconds up at the end of Sector 2, which is putting him in a low 31. Let's see, obviously he'd be able to improve again through here, so I think we're probably going into the 130s, which is around P6 at the moment. Did have a little loss of traction at one of the corners there. He goes P7 then, 130.8, just behind VX Hunter. These guys on to hot laps now, so there's a yellow flag for this Red Bull. It's just out his way, so no actual incident, just getting out of the way. So W Paul is the first of 3 drivers currently on a hot lap, one after the other, so we'll stick with W Paul and see what he can do. It's 107.9 at the end of Sector 2. All looks nice and tidy through there. Just a long straight now down towards the final corner. Yes, I believe his teammate just got a yellow flag out of turn 3. W Paul across the line then, it's a 130.0. Puts in P6. Who's next? I believe next is Junkie Emperor in the Ferrari. Just heading down towards the final corner, and I didn't see a Sector 2 time, so I'm not really sure what we're expecting here. Looks like it's going to be a 130. No, a 129.7 puts in P5. Nice lap. Karting King then, now heading down towards the final corner. Karting King, I know from other leagues, always been a solid driver, and he does a 29.6. Puts that Alfa Romeo into P5. Fatal Defiance then is the last one to get a lap on the board, and he's currently on his way up to the end of Sector 2. And he's a 107.9, so it says purple on my map, but it's not, because we saw a driver go quicker than that earlier on. But he's heading for a decent time. I would suggest he's heading around about P9, I guess, here. Down towards the line, it's 130.0, so it goes P8 in fact. Goes just ahead of W Paul by 11 thousandths of a second. Foxy then in P17 is invalidated. Go to Sam, was up but invalidated. This is Chris about to cross the line in Sector 2. Currently sitting P12. And he... Sorry, he's now coming up towards the line in Sector 2. My apologies. And it's 108.3. He's 4.5 tenths up on his PB. So he's heading towards the time of Voxenter at the moment, who's sitting P10. Unless he's got much more improvement in this sector. Across the line he comes then, and goes P10, just ahead of Voxenter, into P10. Sam we saw invalidated, hadn't he? So let's move a bit further forward. The Gooner has done a 29.0, he's just improved by 5.5 tenths to go fastest. Pete just started a lap. Fatal Defiance is at 1.5 seconds down. Chris, we've just seen. Sam is going again, so let's go with Sam then. 3.5 tenths up in Sector 1. It's a big improvement for the first sector. That's already put him in a challenge for the driver ahead of him, Tempest, who's on an out lap. Around that difficult left out. I don't care how often you play this game. That left hander and how much you practice it is never easy. Such a difficult corner. You could do it absolutely perfect 10 laps in a row and then completely mess up on the next one, as Sam has done on the left-hander there. Didn't seem to have the traction out of the corner and has spun it round when he was improving. Oh, Big Willie again. He's in P15. He's just crossed the line, I think, to start a lap, so let's just watch him up to the end of sector 1. Just coming up to the end of sector 1 in just a moment. Here he comes. He is 3/4 of a second up. Now I'd like to stay with that, but Watson is actually coming around a bit further around the second sector. So there's a yellow flag from McLaren. He's just getting out of the way of Merck. So I will keep I'll keep Big Willie in mind and come back to him as soon as Watson crosses the line. So Watson out of the final corner. What can he do? He was clearly improving. It's a 1:28.9, puts in provisional pole. It's a strong lap from Watson. Now, Big Willie, I kept him in mind and I'm back with him. Let's see what he can do. He was 3/4 of a second up just in the first sector, so he's definitely on for a big improvement. Crosses the line, it's a 30.0. That puts him all the way up to P. That's a very good improvement from Big Willie Fitz. Somebody else just improved there. I didn't see who it was. Is it Pete? No. I'm not sure. Pete, though, is on his way. Ah, no, he's 3 seconds down. Die Hard Swanee, maybe. Sparks flying out of the McLaren. And he's off track. And getting out of the way of these cars coming round. I think it's the Aston Martins who, for whatever reason, seem to like following each other on track. You know, boy, you're currently sitting in P4. Teammate Sam is down in 14th. It's 10 places. And 1.8 seconds separating them currently. Beanie Boy and, well, both Aston Martins are on 8 laps in a way. Big Willie will be coming round to the pits, W Paul. Let's watch him round to the end of the second sector. It looks quick. Yeah, it's just over 4 tenths up. So this is on target to push him up to somewhere around P5. Maybe a bit further if he can improve in the final sector, but he's invalidated. Oh, he's going to be kicking himself on that one. That was worth 6 or 7 places, the improvement he was making. Big Willie's retired it. He's binned it. Big Willie in the wall. I could see myself having some fun with that for this season. Die Hard Swanee then. No, he's not on a proper lap. Let's go to Tempest. It's got a lot of traffic. Tempest has got a lot of traffic and he's backed out of it. Even if he got past that, there was 2 more cars just up the road from him. So there was an awful lot of traffic from there. I think Fatal Defiance was still looking to go though. In the Haas, so he goes past that traffic now. I think that Alpine driver might be in a bit of trouble from Tempest. Let's click that one. Fatal Defiance is 1/4 of a second up on his PB. Now that is challenging Vox Hunter and Pete and Junkie Emperor, so he's and Tempest in fact. It's mighty close. From Karting King in P5 right the way down to Fatal Defiance and W Paul. So Fatal Defiance crosses the line, goes ahead of Vox Hunter into P9. Anybody else? Chris on a lap, but Sam is just over half a second up. So it looks like we're seeing a much more competitive lap from Sam. Hey, T2 Glads. Glads, what happened to you in that last race? You're ghosting all the way through. And hey, Lethal, is it? Lethal Affirmation Racing, LAR. Hey guys, come on Watson, we've got a Watson supporter. Sam 8.5 temps up then, at the moment, through sector 2. He's got his teammate ahead of him on track. This is a massive improvement. He's getting the toe from his teammate all the way around. So that's massive improvement. It's going to see him hit a 30.0, which puts him up to P12. His teammate Bino also improved one place up to P3. Chris, who is almost 9 tenths up through sector 2. This would put him into the 29.6s, which means he's going up towards P5 here. 9 places, potentially. Final turn looks nice. Across the line he comes. It's a 129.5 up to P5 indeed. Ahead of Carton King. So a very good improvement at the end there from Chris. Fatal Defiance is invalidating and slowing down in a way. Smallus. Surprised to see him down where he is. Has he got enough energy to go another lap? Not really. You run out pretty early on. Foxy. It's slowing down there, isn't he? Yeah. So, who up here? Well, it looks like it's going to be a fight for pole position between Watson, Daguna and Diehard Swanee. So, Watson starts his lap. Let's go on to him. See, there's quite a few of you out there now. Thanks for joining, guys. It's very much appreciated that you do. So, what's on? Can he improve to put the pressure on Daguna and Bino and Diehard? Well, I think Bino's probably finished, unless he's managed to save enough energy to go again. But the Bahrain track takes a lot out of soft tyres, so I'd imagine the tyres are probably pretty worn in a way. But I think he is going again. So, yeah, one of the Astons has definitely gone again, and I'm sure it's Bino. Oh no, it isn't. Okay, Bino is into the pits. So, that means it's Sam then. There's an Alfa Romeo off track. Can't see who that is. I don't want to come off of what's on at the moment. As he comes up towards the end of sets 2, there's a Red Bull nicely off track to stay out of the way. Well done from him. And he's into the 106s. He's 2 tenths up. He's heading towards a 128.7. Possibly better if he can improve in the final sector. Carden King retires out of the session. He's actually crashed, I believe. 28.7 then from Watson. Let's go to Daguna. Daguna's also improving. He's a 10.5 up. He's going to have to find another 10.5 to actually take the pole position off Watson, but he's very competitive so far today as Daguna. Out of the final corner. Heads for the line. It's a 28.790. It's P2, less than a tenth of a second off. Diehard Swanee is miles down on his time, so he will stay P4. Looking down, I think that is it. So, it's confirmed then Watson takes pole position by, well, 76 thousandths of a second over Daguna. Mighty close. A strong P3 from Bino Boy in the Aston Martin. Diehard Swanee 4th in the McLaren. Junkie Emperor in the fellow Ferrari. So a good start to the season for the Ferraris. 2nd and 5th on the grid. Chris is P6, Carton King 7, Tempest P8, Pete takes 9th, Fatal Defiance 10th, Fox Hunter 11, W Pool thinking a slightly disappointing P12. I think he'll be disappointed with that. I hope you don't mind me saying that. And I think he knows, I certainly know, and I'm sure he knows that he's very much capable of being higher up the grid than that. Sam in P13 with that really good improvement on his final lap. Big Willie Fitz as well, P14, Aldini P15, Smaller 16, and Foxy in the fellow Red Bull, which was the seat I was going to take tonight before I decided to do comms, is P17. But look at the spacing. Well, the top 4 all within a half a second, and Junkie Emperor not too far off of that. But the top 15 now covered by 1.6 seconds, which is brilliant. That's a reasonably close field. Again, Smallos I know for a fact is definitely capable of being quicker than he was there. So perhaps just didn't get a proper lap in. I'm just seeing that we will be going at 8:30. If you are a driver and listening, do not ready up. We go at 8:30. If you ready up early, I'll miss the start of the race because I'm going to get coffee. So I'll be back with you shortly, guys. Right, hello everyone, who's back just in time by the looks of things as we count down to the starts. Should be a formation lap first, where we'll take a look at the tyres. So yeah, formation lap. I'll get my bits and pieces up. I want the telemetry. Take a look at the tyres to start with. So right then, so the top 6 all starting on mediums, then Carton King's gone for the hard tyres in P7. A couple of mediums after that. Fatal Defiance is on hards. The rest of the field then on mediums. Fox has been disqualified, apart from Aldini, who has opted for softs. I'm not too convinced by that idea, unless he thinks there might be an early safety car. It means he's got 2 compounds dealt with early on, but yeah, I mean, softs are useless around there. For race purposes. They will be gone. 29 lap race, and you can well, softs will last about 6 laps, I'd imagine. I can't see him going much further than that. You can probably push them further, but they're not going to be competitive, is what I mean. As we come round to what used to be the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix a long time ago. Back when I were just a nipper. So that's our tyres. Let's just get it changed. I like to have the position changes up to start the race so that I can see. Mainly so I can see if somebody drastically drops. It normally points towards. Oh, thanks, Matex. That's really kind of you, mate. Thank you very much. Is that because I gave you driver a day for the last race? Excellent. So here we come round to build a grid. Just like the guys at the back are a little bit further back. There is a small loss, I think it is, almost stopped at that point, but it's going again. So I'm going to go with 6 drivers disqualified for overshooting the grid slots. That's my prediction. Only 3? Only 3? That's unreal. I was half right. As the lights begin to come on then, let's change the camera view. Lights on, it's a long pause and eventually they're out. It looked to me like Watson got off the grid nicely. The McLaren went very close to the wall there. There is an Alfa Romeo off track, but on the run down to turn 1, the Gunner's having a look, but Watson did get off the line well and holds P1, but both Ferraris into second and third now. What a start from the Ferraris. 5 seconds for Big Willie Fitz for a severe collision with Die Hard Swanee. Now they were at the opposite points of the track, so clearly something's happened to Die Hard Swanee, and unfortunately Big Willie Fitz has ended up hitting him or something, because they were on completely different ends of the track, or the grid. So let's have a look then. So lots of changes going on. I mean, Foxy already from 17th on the grid up 8 places. With a great start. Big Willie Fitz up 7 places despite whatever contacts he had, but he did pick up a penalty in that. Carton King drops to the back. He was the Alfa Romeo we saw round. Hard to know who to watch at the moment. Obviously there's lots of battles going on. That looked pretty close. That's W Paul on the back of Bino. Sector 2 yellow, that is Aldini. He's round, but I won't switch to him, he's already going again. So, predicted stop strategy then is a medium to hard. That will be your fastest strategy. Presumably then the one guy that started on softs was going with that 2-stopper. Soft, medium to hard. Which, I mean, I suppose it could work out if there is a safety car ideally placed for the soft tyres. As there is a car in the pits, that is Fatal Defiance into the pits from P15. Clearly must have picked up some damage. One of the big changes in the game this season, as Die Hard Swanee makes it 2 places there. Up into P8, gets past. Oh, and that was Williams losing, I think, an end plate there. He's lost his left end plate. Now, it won't have a dramatic effect on the car, he'll still be able to drive that reasonably well. So I wouldn't imagine he's going to come flying into the pits. As there's a sector 2 yellow, and that is the Alpine of Smolos. Just taking him speed sign with him, I think, and the braking signs. But in a way, on he continues. Our closest one at the moment looks to be Big Willie Fitz, as we've lost Fox Hunter. Oh no! He's just there. I'm not quite going to get to see him, am I? Let's see if we... hang on, there's a car in front of this. Beanie, there he is. It's a really odd place to lose it. I'd be amazed if there weren't contact there. I'm sure we'll find out in the Discord afterwards. But to lose it on the outside there, and usually if you catch the curve wrong, you'd end up going across on the left as we see it, into the wall, not the outside. So that is a strange one, which is what makes me think there may have been contact. It has brought out a safety car of some sort, I think. Don't quote me on this, I think it's a virtual safety car. The game doesn't tell you anymore. You've got to work out for yourself by whether there's a safety car coming out of the pits or not. I don't think there is, so I think it's a virtual safety car. Foxy and Chris taking advantage of pitting under that one. We are going again, DRS is enabled. Doing it well, the two Ferraris off to a great start, running second and third. To start their constructor season off, if they can hold on like this, maybe put some pressure on Watson. Super impressed with the Gooner today already. I've raced with the Gooner quite a bit in our ARC days, so I know he's a good racer. I know he's got good pace, but the pace that Watson's been showing in pre-season, I honestly didn't really have thought that we're going to be staying with him the way he is, as there's a yellow in sector. I think it's Garden King. It is indeed. Garden King's been round on that left-hand side. It can be a bit dodgy there. I tend to short shift there up to 6th. So I normally take the corner in. I try and take it in 5th, but if I'm a bit deep on the braking, then I drop to 4th. Short shift to 5th, and then short shift again to 6th, just to give you the extra traction. Particularly in a race, maybe not in qualifying, but in a race, it's easier to do that. So, each to their own, of course. So what else we've got? As you can see, just by looking at the screen there, we're mighty close at the moment. This is Die Hard Swanee on the back of Big Willie. McLaren after the Haas. Actually, in real life, they're tending to do a lot, aren't they? The Haas seems to be better than McLaren this year. How McLaren have taken such a big drop. They're probably only, car-wise, they're probably only better than the Williams this season so far. And possibly the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri don't look like it's up to too much this year. But, I think the game's got them in 9th, haven't they? For the driver career, I think they got McLaren in 9th. There's a change further down there. I'm not sure who that was because they're already seconds apart. I think Foxy's had an incident in sector 1. Sorry, it started sector 2, so he's dropped down to the back. That's what's on sets the fastest lap of the race so far. It does mean Dagunas drops out of that 1 second, which is so important around Bahrain. As Die Hard Swanee then moves to the inside under DRS, ERS into the braking zone, makes the move stick. A fine move there from Die Hard Swanee, and we would like to get up the road, but Big Willie Fitz is going to get it back. So, well, Big Willie retakes P7. That's a fantastic bit of racing from both drivers, no contact whatsoever from either driver. They'll switch positions, and no doubt they'll be going it again next lap as well. Yeah, mate, I saw just 2 tenths off the podium. You did it straight well after being disqualified from the qualifying and starting P20 to get up to finish P4 and be that close to a podium. It was an exceptional drive, mate, hence the driver of the day. Voxy is into the pits and retired. That is both Red Bulls out of the session. Potsansa would be wishing I chose to race rather than do comms now, but not off to a great start of the season then, the Red Bulls. But it's only race 1, plenty of time to make it up. Look at this, they're at it again, look. Down the main straight, Die Hard Swanee is going to get the move done. He's already out of energy. Whereas Big Willie Fitz has got 40-odd%. The AlphaTauri's trying to get involved. That's Pete. I think if I was Pete, I'd be letting these guys fight it, rather than trying to get involved in it. As Big Willie Fitz again trying to get the place back. Again, they avoid all contact. But this time, Die Hard Swanee does hold the place. So now, can he create a gap in the remainder of this lap? But Fitz goes to the outside. Little switch back here. Oh, just in the end, came in behind, sat in, which is probably sensible. Now, just pick the RS up here, use it just to get up to the back of the McLaren. Personally, I wouldn't be bothering to try and make a move here. Just use it to get to the back of the McLaren. You can see his energy light flashing. There's no point in using your own. He is completely vulnerable now, that McLaren. So, for me, just stick close to him. For me, I'd use a little touch of energy out of here. McLaren does. To the final corner. I'm just wondering if Big Willie's a bit more concentrated on trying to defend from the AlphaTauri who pits. So Pete into the pits. I wonder if that's because he felt he was getting held up by these two. So he thought he may as well get a stop out of the way. Into the pits he comes. The hard tyres come off. Softs go on. Oh, he had wing damage. Okay, I hadn't noticed the contact. But, as I said though, you can drive with wing damage in this game. You don't have to pit just because you get wing damage here now in 2022. You can still drive at a good, quick level, depending on the severity, of course. So, Big Willie Fitz. Just falling back then a bit off of Die Hard Swanee now. But, doing a good job so far. There was a yellow flag there in sector 1, but it's already disappeared. I'm not entirely sure. That was 4. This is Chris catching the back of Aldini at the moment. Let's just go to tyres. So you can see. So this one's close. We've also got the two Ferraris are close, and Beano Boy's on the back of them as well. So we've got other battles going on. It's just try and stick with this one because Chris is really catching the back of the AlphaTauri. So I think he potentially could even get a move done here. He looked very close to the back of it. As you can see, Chris quite happy to save his energy. He's not feeling forced into using it. And that was Small-Loss who's had a spin and gone off track, and so both of these drivers to make up a place there. Free position game for them. Chris then gets ahead of Aldini, and he has got plenty enough energy to defend by using it all the way down the main straight, if he so wishes, if that's the way he wants to go with it. And he uses a tiny little spurt. Aldini using his to try and get the overtake done back. Maybe this is purposeful from Chris. He doesn't want to waste his energy doing that. He's now going to get DRS back up into turn 4. Goes to the inside. He's already side by side. He's going to get this move done before he reaches the braking zone, look. Pretty much. And that's the 7-lap-old softs of Aldini that are, I can promise you, are already feeling crappy, if I'm honest. Small-Loss, 3-second penalty. Let's go to the front guys then. So, you can see what's on, just starting to build that lead. It's up to 1.9 seconds now. The yellow in sector 2, that's Small-Loss again, who's now dropped to the back behind Fatal Defiance. What's on, yeah, just starting to build that lead. He's 2 seconds ahead of the Gooner now. Who's coming under pressure by his own teammate. I wonder if his teammate's thinking, hang on, come on, am I quicker here, Gooner? It would be best to get out of my way. And he's going to get... Oh, he's tried to make a move, but the Gooner defends it. And I think that's going to allow Beanie through. Beano. So, a mistake there from the Ferraris. for me. They've allowed that Aston to split them. Yellow sets 2 and 3. I think that's small loss again. He's having a nightmare couple of laps, isn't he? Sector 2 yellow is an Alfa Romeo. Tempest. He appears to have gotten going. Sam is catching the back of him. He may need to get his tyres going again. Yeah, let's go back to this freeway battle. It's really hard to tell with the two Ferraris. Was that a Sainz Leclerc moment at Silverstone, where Leclerc was quicker, and really Ferrari took so long to make the decision on what to do? It ended up, in the end of the race, it ended up costing Leclerc, of course. Okay, Matex, no worries, buddy. Thank you very much for joining and for the sub there. And congratulations on your previous race, mate. And Small Loss is finally out of the race. He's crashed again. This could be a safety car. Who's just coming up to it? It's the leaders that are approaching it. He's down here on the left-hand side as you come around here. He's lost it out of this corner, look. And he's just over. Can you see him? Over in the barrier. So, not an uncommon place to lose it, but I don't think actually that's going to bring out a safety car. I think we're safe. At some point there, Beano Boy got ahead of Daguna. So up into P2 goes the Aston Martin. The yellow flag is cleared. So, I've got to say, the Ferrari's made a mistake there. Either Daguna needed to let his teammate through, or his teammate needed to back off and just say, I'm going to defend you from the Aston Martin. So I don't know if they're in a party chat. Perhaps they're not in a party chat. To be fair, I don't generally go in party chats when I'm on track. I've just got an understanding with my teammates of what we'll do to help each other. Actually, unusually for me, in my main season, going into 22, we're starting, not next week, the week after in my league, but unusually for me, I'm going to be the quicker of the teammates this year. I've not been in that position before. I've usually always been the slower one. I say slower, not slow. I picked up, I had a streak of 5 podiums in a row last season, so I'm, you know, I'm not bad. So I'm just watching for a little bit, just because he's stretching that lead out now. It's 3.7 seconds. So when that happens, you don't tend to get to see the leaders. And that's W-Pool is round. He'd gotten up to P5. He's having a cracking race, but he's round there, and he's going to come under pressure straight away from Big Willie Fitz, by the way, who's having a fantastic race so far. So, looking through the field, Junkie Emperor again is right on the back of Daguna. It doesn't look like this one's going to amount to anything as Pete gets past Carton King, but that's because Carton King's gone round again. But again, he's back going, and there's another one as Sam this time has lost it in this corner. Seems to be the corner giving the most problems as pit stops begin to happen. Daguna is in. So he's clearly looking at an undercut. Undercuts can be difficult in 2022 because of the slipperiness of the tyres on pit exit. I think that's all he's going to lose, so he's going to come out P8. Let's just have a look there. Oh, the car that was coming down the straight is pitted as well. That was Sam, so he's in. Let's just go on board with the Gunner and see how he copes with it. Look, he's running wide. Look, it is difficult this season. Well, that's about half a lap, so it's not as if it goes on for ages. But that is a incident ahead. I think it was Big Willie Fitz. Such a great race so far, but a mistake that time. Ultimately, that's going to cost him in the battle with a Ferrari, the Gunner. But because that wasn't really his battle, the Gunner runs wide in the left-hander. This is why undercuts in 2022 are so hard. Because of heating the tyres up. They're not impossible, but they are hard. It's going to take some practice for us all to get used to this. Watson has reacted to the Gunner's pit stop. So in he comes. So he puts the hards on, and those two clearly going to the end then. Seems to take forever to get out of pits then, but I think that was just a little lag on my side. Junkie Emperor, then now into P2. Beano Boy is the temporary leader, shall we say. I'm interested now. Let's go to Watson, who runs very wide in turn 1. And this is where, rather than an undercut, an overcut becomes a possibility. So he's now 22.6 seconds behind the leader. Let's watch that gap. Let's take it off of interval to leader. 23.26. 23.5. It's increasing all the time. So for me, well, look, top 2, you need to pit this lap. For me, you need to pit. Well, one of you needs to take a gamble here that you can get out ahead of Watson. I think it would be pretty close. But the problem is, I don't imagine Beano Boy's going to want to pit first, because he's got the Ferrari right on his back, and he doesn't want to be vulnerable to the overcut. So, but he does pit. He's in. So Watson is just coming around the right-hander onto the straight that leads down to the final corner. Beano Boy is into his slot. On go to hards, and out he goes. Let's go back to Watson. It's going to be close. There's the line. I think Beano Boy gets out ahead, but he's going to be slow on these tyres. That's the power of the overcut, but of course he's going to be slow on the tyres for half a lap, and so Watson gets back past. Now all Beano Boy can do is try and stay as close as possible, but surely this is playing into Junkie Emperor's hands. So now Watson is beginning to close the gap slightly. Surely Junkie Emperor will jump in this lap and take advantage of the overcut on Beano Boy. I do think it's going to depend a lot on the track as to whether the undercut or the overcut's the better option, and I think Bahrain is clearly one where the overcut is the quicker one. But look at what's on it. He's not making massive inroads to Junkie Emperor's lead. So again, it's going to be close between him and Junkie Emperor. I think this time Watson is a little bit further around the circuit than he was with Beano Boy, so I think he will actually go past. Beano Boy is not going to get ahead of Junkie Emperor for me. So it's just Junkie. What is going on there? Junkie Emperor is on his way out. He's already had his stop. He's on his way out. Watson doesn't get ahead of him. He's going to need to get ahead of him while his tyres are really cold. Let's go on board with Watson and see what it's like trying to do this. He wouldn't stay behind that car. He's going to have to brake so early for the corner. Yeah, side by side. Watson takes the position then. How quick can Junkie Emperor get his tyres up to temperature? I do think it's a really interesting factor of this new game. It's Watson had built a gap of well over 3 seconds and still became vulnerable to the overcut. Now, so Junkie Emperor needs to get his tyres up to speed, up to temperature, but they are, of course, a couple of laps younger than what's on, so will that be able to make a difference in the long run to the end of the race? The Gooner then ended up getting ahead of, well, Beano Boy, I don't know what happened to him, but he must have had a spin or something, because the Gooner's gotten ahead of him as well. So for me, I think that's a spin. Let's go back to the intervals. So the Ferraris have ended up both getting back ahead of the Aston Martin, so they're back to 2 and 3 again, but the other way round this time. So Junkie Emperor leading the charge for Ferrari, the Gooner in P3. Beat up into P5, by the way, on those softs, but he's reaching the point where he's going to have to pit. He ain't going to go any further, really. So, yeah, I'm sure he'd love to try and hold out for a safety car, but it's not looking very likely that one's going to come. It's been very, very clean so far. You know, then. Clearly this is going to be a battle to look at going forward. Just having a look through the field, well actually we may as well go back to it, because looking through the field, there's no one closer at the moment. You know, trying to hold within this 1 second gap at the moment. I must admit, the hard tyres, I think they've still got a little bit of the last year's game in them, where they do, even though you get them warmed up and they start to feel a lot better within like half a lap, I still think after about another 3 or 4 laps, they start feeling better again. Pete is into the pits then, by the way. He's actually put the hard tyres on that he started the race. So he's gone back to those hard, oh no, medium tyres. Sorry, so he's put the medium tyres on that he started the race on. They're already 6 laps old. Not the Bride I don't think. Hards would have been better. So yeah, I do think that, yeah, the hard tyres, you know, an extra 2 or 3 laps after you've worn them up, and then they really start to come into their own. But to be fair, that might just be more a confidence thing for the drivers. There was a yellow flag there in sector 1, but they're already going again. There's nothing major to look out for. In fact, I think it might have been Aldini being lapped, so just getting out of the way. I think it may have been. There's, ooh, a little bit of oversteer off the curve for Beano Boy. Wrecks it straight away. Still staying within that 1 second, but now we've got a closer one. Die Hard Swanee right on the back of Carton King then. So Die Hard Swanee, I've only just pitted onto these hards, so I'll be feeling pretty confident of moving forward for the rest of this race rather than backward. You will open up the DRS. You would think this will be a pretty straightforward move. The red light is flashing on the back of Carton King's Alfa Romeo. They head down to turn 1. Move done well before the braking point. And into P6 goes Die Hard Swanee. But the only thing for him, even though he's got the best tyres now on the track, really, the guys ahead of him are all pretty similar. They're all on hard tyres that haven't done that many laps. So only 1 or 2 more than his, so any more places is going to be a struggle for him, particularly with a penalty, as he actually goes purple in sector 1. Smooth then, Beano still on the back of the Gooner. Finding it hard to really close that gap up and get under the gearbox of the Gooner. It does have 20% more energy, so that is one advantage. He's deploying some here to try and get back within the seconds in time for DRS, which I think he did do just. But clearly at the moment, it looks like the Gooner is enjoying those hard tyres more than Beano Boy is. So there's the DRS. We've definitely got inside it. He's fallen 1.2 seconds back. I'm not confident he's going to get back into this here. And indeed he hasn't. So the Gooner has officially got Beano Boy out of the DRS zone to him. Obviously the Gooner does have a penalty. I don't like to look at the penalties. If you're watching, you're thinking look at the penalties. I don't like to do that until 3 laps from the end. As Die Hard Swanee spins it, that was a good switch to him then to see that one. He spins it out of turn 2 and has just lost the place that he had gained over Carton King. Although it's perfectly possible that Carton King may be going to pit again. I'm not entirely sure if he will, if I'm honest, because a pit stop's going to drop him right away down the order. So he may just try and push the hards out that he's on. Although he can he? He started on those hards, Carton King, so he has to pit, in fact. So that is, I think Aldini has been round there and has been overtaken. Is he overtaken or lapped? I think he's been lapped by everyone now, Aldini. Everyone apart from Big Willie Fitz, I think. He's still got to lap him, but that doesn't tally with what I saw with Aldini last night. He drove well last night in the race. I think he did end up as a DNF, but he did actually drive well from what I saw in him. So I don't think that's actually representative of his pace. I think he's got more in him than that. As Sam goes for the move on the Alfa Romeo of Tempest. Did Tempest do a sneaky and nick DRS by slowing down on the straight? Let's see. I think he did. I don't see the flap open on that Aston Martin. So he did, but it didn't work because he hasn't got the position back. He's going to get it again up into onto the straight up to turn 4. So looks like Sam will hold that position. I do think Tempest tried a little cheeky slowdown to pick up the DRS, but didn't work for him. But thinking though, Carton King has finally pitted and he's gone to softs to the end, so it's going to be quick for the next 5 or 6 laps, which should mean that he can get ahead of Fatal Defiance pretty easily because he's 18-lap-old medium, so I'd imagine Fatal's got a pit in a way. But then there's a 6.6 second gap to Die Hard Swanee, who's on pretty fresh hard tyres. He's going to be really difficult to catch. So to start with, he's going to be a good 2 seconds a lap quicker than Die Hard Swanee, I would imagine. But that will quickly deteriorate. That's the problem. Let's go to them actually. Carton King. Just aware that Pete is on the back of... Actually, sorry, let's go back because Pete's up right on the back of Tempest. They've both got DRS, so no, sorry, let's go back then to Carton King. Surely we'll get the move done. Let's ride on board with him. Well, in fact, Fatal Defiance, as I suggested, does have to pit and is in for what I would assume will be a fresh set of softs to go to the end. So Carton King back up into P11. Now, Die Hard Swanee is 7 seconds up the road, but he has a penalty. So Carton King in search of points. Well, what would be in search of a double point score for Alfa Romeo to open their season's account. I would say he's favourite to do that. Let's go then back to Pete, who didn't get past Tempest earlier on. So he's still giving it another go. Tempest is still getting DRS himself off of Sam. So it makes it really difficult for Pete to do anything at the moment. And unfortunately for him, he is approaching a point where the hard tyres will be becoming of Tempest will be becoming stronger than his mediums. So they're probably pretty close at the moment, the two sets of tyres. 8 laps on the hards, 10 laps on the mediums. I doubt there's very much time-wise between them. But he's having a look this time, is Pete. Pete penalty-free, mind. So he could have just held behind there and kept that position, but obviously he wants to get ahead. And it's like he stayed clean. Oh, he's going to get pushed off by the Aston there, though. I don't think you can blame the Aston there. The Aston was safely through. Didn't have any right to be side by side, but in the end the Aston's lost to 2 places, but gets a switch back and they're free of breath. Oh, and now it's turned out with the AlphaTauri spinning. I think there's contact from the inside from Tempest. He's also lost a bit of room now to Sam. He's dropped out of the DRS because of it. So in the end it did end in tears. It was exciting for us, the 3 cars going side by side, but in the end for the drivers it becomes a moment of, oh, why did I do that? Why didn't I just settle or just wait? Die Hard is on the back then of Chris. This is for P8. Die Hard has a penalty, Chris doesn't, so he needs to get this move done so we can get up the road. We have, including this one, we have 7 laps remaining. Sorry, 6 laps because the leaders are already on to the next lap. As Tempest must have picked up damage then, he's in the pits. Going to drop him right away down the order. He's going to end up behind his, well, easily behind his teammate. He's going to be behind Big Willie Fitz. So he's going to drop to 12th. Willie Fitz on the edge of the points in P11. Not entirely sure what happened to Big Willie Fitz. He had a really good start to this race and was much further up the order. Clearly something must have happened to him. I don't think we saw it. Just struggling for some of the watch now, guys. The people are just fallen out of the 1 second to everyone ahead. I think Pete is our most likely at the moment. But these 3 cars really, Chris, Pete and Karting King, because they're all catching the two. No, Chris is Pete is catching Chris and Karting King's catching Pete, so I think they're our most likely. Oh, my lighter stopped working. Just a second. So here we go then. So Pete is now within DRS range of Chris. I make it that little bit more difficult for Karting King to catch at the moment, although you would imagine when these two battle that will help him. So Pete right on the back of Chris now. Stay on to the end of sector 1. We're sort of looking down the field, by the way, guys, because the front runners seem to be pretty much decided now. They are. Can't really see much change in there. The only possibility is that Daguna's picked up a penalty, so Bino might nick a place off of him because of that. Oh, no, it worked. Excellent. We are getting close to the point where I will have a look at the penalties. It's lap 27, we will have a look at the penalties, so... See one of the stewards enjoying the race. Best seats in the house. So surely now Pete will open up the energy. He does indeed. DRS pops open. And should have the move done before we get into the braking zone, really. And as you can see, Carton King's caught up to the back now as well. So Pete up into P8. It's looking like it's going to be really difficult for Chris to fight Carton King off as well. But then there's a big gap back to Big Willie Fitz. So I think Chris is going to be able to hold on for what would be a really strong championship point in the end. A really hard fought one. And so far on the hards. So Carton King just needs to wait his time now. He's obviously he'd love to get past him because he don't want Chris to disappear too far. Oh, sorry, Pete to disappear too far. Because he'll still be fancying with just over 4 laps to go for these guys. He'll be fancying that he can catch Pete still. Surely on the next straight then. So here we go. Opens up the DRS. You can see him gradually catching. Round he goes. He's run out of energy, which doesn't help. So go into the braking zone. And Carton King moves into P9, which will pick him up 2 points. So the gap, Pete managed to get 2.4 seconds up the road. Well, 2.5 seconds up the road. As well, Chris has got DRS back, and he's having a look back at Carton King. He's not giving up on this. Perhaps he noted the flashing red light and thought, well, I'm not going to give up if he ain't got no energy left. And he's won the place back. That's brilliant driving. Fantastic driving from the pair. Oh, but he's had a little wobble. I should say that. Chris has a wobble at the corner, and that enables Carton King back past, and I think that's probably the end of that battle, to be honest. Looking further up the field, Sam has caught the back of W. Paul, I believe, but W. Paul was pitted for fresh softs, so W. Paul, I think, is pitted to do the fastest lap, pick up the extra point. So he'll have those tyres up to speed now with W. Paul. He's completed a lap on them, so this will be his run for fastest lap of the race. Let's ride on board with him for the fastest lap of the race. After he completes this lap, I will do the penalties, and we shall take a look at those. This is W. Paul's attempts at nicking that extra point to give him 11 points for today. 11 well-earned points as well, if he can do it, after a disappointing qualifying for him. Oh, he's had to back out of it. Well, will he decide now, actually, right, that was a disaster, let's back out of it, I'll do it next lap instead. So for that reason, I'm going to assume that he's going to try and do it next lap instead. Let's take a look at the penalties now. So, right, the Gooner has 3 seconds. It looks like that's going to drop him off the podium for Beano Boy to pick up third. Diehard Swanee has 3 seconds, which at the moment would see Pete promoted to P7. Carton King will obviously try and get the gap down and see if he can take advantage of that, but he's got a long way to go. And I think his softs are probably starting to drop off a bit. 3 seconds for a Big Willie Fitz isn't going to make any difference because Tempest has 11. At the moment, Tempest would drop to 13th. As Fatal Defiance would move ahead of him. Aldini, fair play to him, still going in P14. I always say don't retire from races. It's not working for him today. He's not going to... W. Paul does put in the fastest lap of the race in the end for 1:30.8. But you know he's got more in the tank, so we might give it another go. Because we know he's got more in the tank because of the mistake that we saw him make. So, you could do a recharge lap, really. Don't use any energy this lap. Just recharge so you've got a bit for the final lap and maybe have another go. Or just take the points that you've already got, because you don't really need to. Have we got any late battles going on? We don't, I'm afraid. Fatal Defiance is trying his best to stay within the 11 seconds to pick up the place on Tempest, but it's getting difficult for him. That looked like Louis Paul being a bit slow out of the left-hander there. So, the Gooner, by the way, is caught right up really close now to the back of his teammate, but of course has the 3-second penalty, so it won't make any difference. Just looking, where is what's on? He starts right. So these guys have started the last lap. If Chunky Emperor thought about this, he could slow down to allow the Gooner to catch him and drag him through the DRS zone. It's a short DRS zone, so I don't think it's going to help the Gooner gain a second over Beano Boy, but maybe could have thought about that a couple of laps back. Gotta work as teammates. If you want to win the Constructors, you got to work as teammates. That's Watson! Watson's out! Our leader has crashed on the final lap of the race! Oh, Watson, Watson, what have you done? This is Aldini who's just coming past him. That's now going to give the Gooner a podium. He'll finish P3, but he's over on the right. He's dropped it out of that right-hand corner. Oh, he is going to be absolutely kicking himself as everybody gets promoted up. Big Willie Fitch, you're going to get into the points. Well, he's put a series of laughy faces in the Discord, but I don't think he'll really be feeling like that on the inside. Disaster. As Chunky Emperor then crosses the line, wins the race for Ferrari. Beano Boy, due to the Gooner's penalty, promoted to P2 for Aston Martin. The Gooner P3 in the other Ferrari, so a great day for Ferrari. 2 podium places. W. Paul ends up P4 then. Sam in the second Aston Martin will take 5th, so a great day for Aston Martin as well. W. Paul has a little oversteering moment there as well, but will cross the line comfortably. Sam just behind him for Aston Martin. Die Hard Swanee just behind that for McLaren in P6. Pete actually jumps ahead of him, so Pete takes P6. Die Hard Swanee 7. Cartoon King takes a very good P8 today. Drove very, very well. Chris, another one who's done a good job today, takes P9. And that is why you always drive to the end of a race, because Big Willie Fitz picks up a point. If he'd have given up, he wouldn't have done it, and he picks up a point for Haas to get their season underway on just the first race of the season. Tempest will take P11, Fatal Defiance P12, and Aldini will be classified as P14 because he didn't complete as many laps as Watson. He will be classified P13. Driver of the day from the game goes to Sam. I will take a look at that in a second. I like to give my own driver of the day, so I'll let's call it a commentator's perk. You get to award a driver of the day. So here's the podium, boys. Having a little celebration, a little skip out onto the podium. Little camp skip. So fair play. You kept going to the end. You did really well to get yourself into P2 with the overcut. And actually exited the pits in front of Watson, but obviously his tyres were cold and Watson took the place off of him. And was looking dead set for the victory, but Watson, well, he will be fuming with himself, I'm sure. But there's the confirmation then. Junkie Emperor wins from 5th on the grid. Beano Boy P2. The other Ferrari, the Gooner P3. Brilliant result for Ferrari. W Pool P4 picks up 12 points plus the fastest lap point. So 130.8 takes the fastest lap. And so you take home 13 points from Bahrain. Salmon P5, Pete, Swanee, Carton King, Chris and Big Willie Fitz fill out the points. Well done, guys. Unlucky to Tempest, Fatal Defiance. Watson, of course, massively unlucky for him. And Aldini all finish the race but don't pick up points. I normally do a scroll down all the incidents, but I'm not quite going to make it. Let's see how many I can get. Quick! I nearly got there. There weren't many left. There we have it. It's a brilliant season opener for hybrid racing F Formula 1. I've enjoyed 2 season openers in a row tonight that have both been absolutely fantastic races. The lobby seems to behave itself in both races, which is a plus, and something I'm really happy to see as a league head admin in another league that have already postponed the start of our season because we've had some issues. I'm really glad to see that. Congratulations then to the top 3 on the podium spots. Massive commiserations to Watson. That's so unlucky, man. It just shows you've got to concentrate to the end. I'm not saying you weren't, just saying it just shows it can happen at any point. And also congratulations to all our point scorers. And other than that, guys, just a massive thank you to everybody that's tuned in live. I know we've had a good viewing figures, so thank you very much. I've just read a message from Watson that says that he tried to go for the fastest lap on 50% Warren Hards and lost traction. Don't mind in the way, Amber's. Oh, right. Well, there you go, guys. Moral of the story, don't go for fastest lap on 50% Warren Hards. Anyway, as I was saying, a massive thank you to everybody that's watched live. This has been my 3rd stream in a row. I've been streaming continuously pretty much from 5 o'clock. So thank you to everyone who's watched in that time. And thank you to everybody who watches the race back. I know an awful lot of you do. So it's all really appreciated. Also, thanks to Maytex who subscribed earlier on and gave a gift subscription as well. So thank you very much to them. Okay, guys. Well, that's this week done. I'm just going to take a quick look in the Discord. I'm not massively familiar with Hybrid's Discord, to be honest, but I'm going to see if I can find the fixtures. Sunday Championship calendar. There we go. So next week we head to, well, of course it's, oh right, okay, we're going in order of the actual real in life season. So in real life season, so it will be Jeddah next week at the same time. So please come and enjoy the walls of Jeddah. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of what's left of your weekend, and have a good week. Stay safe, and we'll be back next week. All the best and good night.